I think we need more thinking.
The Nuggets in Atlanta looking for their 9th straight road win. Can they get it? Let's find out. You're listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about the Nuggets with good vibes. Let's get it.
Let's try to get healthy. Let's stay together. And if we can do that, we put ourselves in a good situation.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So the Nuggets were in Atlanta today, coming off of a great win against the Pacers, looking for their 9th straight road win against the Hawks after a monster game from Jamal. Like, I'm talking monster game. If you didn't see last game, 52 points by the Blue Arrow. Let's go. We haven't seen that in a while, in a minute. Normally those kind of games from Jamal happen around February, March. We got that, an early 52 piece from Jamal. And so going into this, the Nuggets were looking to extend that 8-game winning streak to 9. The injury list still has AG, CB, and Julian Strawther out. We're going to have AG and CB out for a couple more weeks here, so they're going to continue to be on the injury list. I will continue, though, to repeat it every single game until they're not on the list anymore. And Julian Strawther, I was watching the DVR today, and they made a good point that he's kind of, every season so far, has had some kind of weird injury. And it kind of made me think that he's kind of our Mr. Glass. You know, every team has their Mr. Glass. He's kind of it. Like, AG has started to become a little bit more injury prone as he's getting older, and Murray a little bit. Obviously, Jokic doesn't care if he's injured. He will play without an arm. You know, he'll play with one leg if he has to. He will get out there and battle it until the end. But everyone else, they are slightly still at least a little tougher. And I mean, CB has been tough as nails. It takes a lot for CB to get out as well. But Julian Strawther usually gets out on these weird injuries, and he's not putting up enough points to kind of back up even getting injured. So it's weird. I really think that we need to part ways with Julian Strawther, right? I'm more on that boat right now, and I hope that the Ben Wallace scrounges out some kind of trade deal that packages him, Zeke, and Hunter in one package that gets them all three out to get someone else in, because I definitely think the Nuggets need a trade to happen this year. We've got to have some kind of trade by the end of the deadline, but be specific of what the trade, because I don't want Peyton Watson getting traded. I don't want any of the starters getting traded, and I don't want Big Val getting traded, because he has been phenomenal as a backup center for Jokic. I also don't want Brucey B to get traded, because, come on, you can't win a second chip without him. He is a crucial piece to this team, regardless of having good points, bad points, whatever. Like, he makes at least a defensive attack that we need, as little as that we have that right now. So the other person to add on to the injury list tonight was Spencer Jones with a knee contusion. He was questionable, but he would be upgraded to available, and he would actually play the entire game. So not literally 48 minutes, but he wouldn't leave at all or anything. Like, he got his rest, but he would play the full game. So the Nuggets starters were Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, Spencer Jones, P. Watt, and Jokic. The Nuggets were in their black Skyline jerseys. That's kind of why I wore this hat, repping the Skyline era there. And then the Hawks were in their red jerseys. And the Nuggets won. Let's go, Nuggets. Getting that dub in Atlanta, extending that road winning streak to 9. Final score, 134-133. Let's go, Nuggets. So what happened in this game? Let's break it down. This was a roller coaster of a game, and if you had checked in early to this game and then checked out by the halftime, you're probably a little confused what happened, because it definitely felt like the Nuggets had lost this game within the first 5 minutes of it. There was just no exist. And like it really looked like the Nuggets were giving up and they just were going to take the L and then move on to the next game. And somewhere along the half time area, they ate their orange slices, whatever, and did their smelling salts. I don't know, but they were a different team come the second half. So the Nuggets controlled the tap, but unable to get a bucket in the first quarter. Dyson Daniels then gets a layup for the first bucket of the game. Okongwu sinks a three to give the Hawks an early 5-0 lead. Finally, on a second chance, Jokic gets a bucket on the finger roll in, and then Cam intercepts the ball, runs it down the court on the fast break for the layup plus the foul, misses the free throw, unable to tie the game with that. And then Cam, on another possession, misses a three, but Jokic, with the rebound, kicks it to P-Watt for the dunk. Awesome dunk. And the short-lived lead, it was like a 1-point lead, until Daniels again sinks a three to get the Hawks a 2-point lead. And this is kind of where things went south for the Nuggets. Hawks, on the interception and fast break, get a layup and forces Adelman to take the first timeout of the game. And then the game just starts to get lost for the Nuggets at this point, as the Hawks answer back with 6 unanswered points to give them a 10-point lead. And it would continue to grow. Finally, Tim Hardaway Jr. sinks a three to stop that bleeding, but the Hawks, who have built a 14-point lead by this point, continue to push forward. They did something weird, though, that I think is the reason why they lost this game. I forget, forgive me for all the Hawks fans that might end up watching this. I forget your coach's name. Shorty, something like that. Gordy, whatever. I might even be completely wrong. The guy with the glasses. He took an early challenge against a call. An out of bounds call. It was successful. It was going to the Nuggets, and he called that. It became successful, and then it actually ended up giving Bruce B a foul from it, which I guess in some way you could argue that was a good challenge, because it got one of our guys a foul on them, and then you also got the ball. But you called such an early foul or early challenge that puts you down one by later in when you could have probably used one in the second half. So that happened, and immediately after that, then Kristaps Porzingis nails a three to get the Hawks up by 19. That's not the least amount of, or the most amount of points that they would get by. Hawks then challenge another foul on Kristaps to Jokic with 2 seconds left in the quarter. This was the worst decision that the Hawks made the entire game. You could have just let Kristaps have that foul. That could have been fine, and then you would have probably gone on to win another challenge later when it was clutch time. Instead, the coach of the Hawks decided to challenge with 2 seconds left in the first quarter. It does become successful. It leads to a jump ball, which leads to nothing, and the Hawks outscore the Nuggets 41-23. Yeah, that's right. Nuggets let 41 points. They allowed 41 points in the first quarter. You were already up at that point. Like, the Hawks were already up at that point, and they still wasted both challenges in the first quarter. Worst fucking decision that a coach could have made. Like, I get on Adelman all the time, and he didn't use a challenge at all, which I'm a little bit upset about as well, but at least we got the W. You used both of your freaking challenges in the first quarter, and then that's it. And then you were already down by timeouts before the half even happened. Like, in the second half was completely a mismatch, and it was in the Nuggets' favor because of all of that. So, and then also a little caveat here: if you didn't know, the head officiator of this game was Scott Foster, who if you are definitely a Nuggets fan, hates Jokic and just hates the Nuggets in general. And so a lot of the issues with this game, you could kind of understand what was going on because Scott Foster was there. Not to say that there was a lot of egregious kind of officiating. It wasn't as bad as in the second round of the playoffs last season, but I don't trust any game with Scott Foster being the ref in it. So, second quarter, the Nuggets start the quarter off with a lineup of Brucey B, Tim Hardaway Jr., Cam, Big Val, and Zeke. As the Hawks miss their first attempt, Tim Hardaway Jr. on the other end gets fouled, goes to the line, makes 1 of 2 for the first bucket of the quarter. Hawks then respond by sinking a 3 to go up by 20, and the Nuggets, failing to box out on the offensive paint, allow the Hawks to get that defensive rebound every single possession. The defense issues still plaguing the Nuggets in this. Like, that was definitely the overall story of the first half, was a lack of aggressive defense. They only had 3 fouls. The Nuggets only caused 3 fouls in that first half. That's the big issue in this. They were not being aggressive enough. And that's kind of been the overall arcing story of the Nuggets defense right now as we see it. They just have not been aggressive enough at all. They're too afraid of getting foul heavy or, getting into the bonus early on or whatever, or causing the other team to get in the bonus. They need to be more aggressive, and it actually is weird about the game that the more aggressive team actually ends up getting more of the calls. That's what you see with OKC a lot. They're so aggressive. That's a little bit of why they get also so many calls. They also flop a lot, but that's another discussion for another time. But the more aggressive, like we saw that actually like the last couple of seasons with the Timberwolves. They were super hyper aggressive, and they would continue to get the calls over the Nuggets because the Nuggets just haven't been aggressive. And that's why we like AG and CB, because they are aggressive. As good of a defender as Peyton is, he's great at blocking shots. He is definitely a 100%. That is his A. That's where he eats. But he just is not aggressive enough. All of the Nuggets, despite those two I just said, AG and CB, are not aggressive enough. The third one, actually the other two that might be more aggressive is Spencer Jones and Brucey B. Short of that, there's just no aggression there. And you saw that in this first half. So the Nuggets then are just their defense is just not clicking in. Johnson from the Hawks, Jalen Johnson, gets a floater in to get the Hawks first to 50, and then Jokic checks back in at the 6:25 mark. You would think there'd be some kind of change, but Jokic did not have a good first half. Even though he was still the leading scorer of the Nuggets by like single digits, the fact that they all had single digits and he was leading it, they were all having bad games, but he was still having a better game than they were. And so he checks back in. Nothing really is able to happen. Still, the Nuggets aren't able to cut the lead down. The Hawks give the Nuggets multiple opportunities too. They keep on turning over the ball, and yet the Nuggets on the other end turn the ball right back over. The ball handling was a big issue in that first half. And so then Jokic continues to brick threes. He was putting up so many threes tonight. It was frustrating, and I get it. He wants one to get in and hopefully then get hot. He made 1 of 8 tonight, which I'm not going to get onto him too much about it because he has been so efficient the entire season so far. He's allowed to have one bad efficient game, but 1 for 8. Like, you would think after 4, maybe just pass the rock. Pass the rock, or, I think at least if you're going to play good defense, then you can continue to brick shots. But if you're not going to play any defense on the other end, you just need to get a bucket, whether it's an easy one or not. And so the fact that he just kept on bricking these threes was really difficult to watch. Kristaps gets a steal, and no one chases after him. He runs on the fast break, dunks it. Hawks up by 23 at this point. They actually got up as much as 24 in this quarter. P-Watt then sinks a 3 to get the Nuggets past the 50 mark, and then the Hawks, again, outscore the Nuggets 32-31, narrowly this time. So there was a little bit of a difference in that second quarter versus the first, but the Hawks still take the lead into the half, 73-54. That's right, they allowed 73 points in the first half. Nuggets then in the third quarter start off with the starters as usual, and the Hawks miss a 3. Cam with the rebound lobs it over to Yoke with a floater, gets the first bucket of the quarter. Yoke then on a pass from Jamal gets the spin around bucket plus the foul to cut the lead to 14. So they were on a heater at this point. They were starting to cook. They ate their orange slices. They were chunking along, and followed by Cam for 3 gets the Nuggets lead down, or the Hawks lead down to 11. Jamal on a rebound into the fast break for a layup gets the lead down to a 9 in the single digits now, and that's where you start to saw life. There is life showing in the Nuggets. The heartbeat started to go on the monitor. We're going to do this. Jamal then sinks another 3 to cut it to 6. Nuggets on a 17-2 run cuts the lead to 4. Crazy. It was just madhouse at this point. You quieted the Hawks crowd. They were sweating tears and everything. Finally, after an attempt, 6 threes from Jokic, Jokic sinks that 1 out of 8 to cut the lead to 3. Cam then fouls on the rebound, sending Kennard to the line at the end of the quarter, who makes both, gets the Hawks first to 100. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. gets a 3 to sink, cutting that lead to 6. Nuggets not able to defend the Hawks, making a 3 at the end of the quarter, and the Nuggets still able to outscore the Hawks 40-30. That was exactly the response that they needed to do. It sucked that they allowed that 3 at the end, but still to win by 10 and to get 40 points, it's just, that's the right track that you want to be on. The fourth quarter, the Nuggets start off with a lineup of Brucey B, Big Val, Cam, Jamal, and Tim Hardaway Jr. This lineup was the perfect lineup if you wanted to rally a comeback win. I loved everything that this lineup did. Like, I wish that they had more energy to continue the entire quarter and not even have Jokic back in, because they were just killing it. It was so fun to watch this lineup, just basically cook the Hawks. As the Nuggets ball is moving, finds Tim Hardaway Jr. for an open 3 in the first bucket of the quarter. But then the Nuggets defense gives up a 3 on the other end. However, Cam then responds with a 3. So there's a little bit of trading back and forth threes, which if you do that, the Nuggets are eventually going to, take over. And so Murray then sinks a 3 to make it a 3-point game again. Cam ties the game on a deep 3. This was the best moment of the freaking game, to see that we were down by 24 and now in the fourth quarter tying it on a 3 at 106. The game was tied at 106 from this. And then we got a big jam from Big Val, giving the Nuggets a 2-point lead. Let's go. Jamal then with a fadeaway gets the bucket plus the foul, go up by 5, and then Brucey B sinks a 3, giving the Nuggets an 8-point lead. Hardaway Jr. then gets a 3 to give the Nuggets an 11-point lead, and this is where we started to cook. However, then Kristaps, the unicorn, stops the run with a 3 himself, and this was kind of the area where he started to get really, really freaking annoying, as Kristaps usually does whenever I watch him. I can't watch him. And normally the Hawks are not a horrible team. I don't hate the Hawks and I don't love the Hawks. I will occasionally root for the Hawks, but since Kristaps has been added to their roster, I just can't watch them. I just do not like the unicorn at all. He is so annoying to watch because he complains after he literally fouls people all the time. And so he actually would foul Jokic. He would actually grab him by the side and then get upset that was called a foul. That's a foul, dude. You fouled him. You grabbed him. You can't do that without getting fouled. Like, come on now. But he cuts it with a 3. And then Jokic checks back in at the 5:34 mark. So we were up by 11. And you would think that we were going to then blow this team out. However, that was not the case. It came down. They started to rally back another win. And this was completely a game of runs. And so Jokic checks back in at the 5:34 mark. The Hawks get 2 back-to-back 3s to sink in to cut that 11-point lead to 5. And then it would just kind of happen from there. It got into the foul game where Jokic actually missed one shot, giving the Hawks a chance to, come back. Jamal then blocks the shot at the end of the game that could have tied the game or given the Hawks a lead of 1. And the Nuggets outscore the Hawks again, 40-30. That's right. They had 2 40-30 quarters, which gave them a 1-point win. Again, final score 134-133. Let's go Nuggets. Ay, man, my heart is still racing from it. It was just that they definitely made you sweat. And I've said it before, you're not watching a Nuggets game if you haven't had 5 heart attacks. That's pretty much what happened in this one. So the big takeaway here is just how you start can help you finish, but it's not always about how you start, but it is definitely more about how you finish. The Nuggets had a horrendous first half, down by as much as 24, and then with 2 40-point quarters, outscoring the Hawks by 10 each time, they managed to rally back a win. The big factor here was that the Nuggets got more aggressive in that second half, which led to throwing the offense off for the Hawks and allowing the offense for the Nuggets to build back up. There's still hope for the Nuggets defense to get better without AG and CB, and this game is proof. So let's get into the stats here. We got a little bit of a shorter kind of episode here. That's fine. It happens. And with a win like this, like you pretty much, you just got to ride the positive vibes there. Like, yeah, we had a lot of wrong, but there was a lot good too. And you had that a lot good in the end of the game rather than at the start. Like if it had been flipped, right? And we had like a 30-point lead at the halftime, and then that got diminished down to 1 point, you would be so upset with the Nuggets. But this time, they were down by 24, rallied up to at least win by 1. That is, I would take that over the latter. So, stats here: Spencer Jones played 23 minutes tonight, made 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. He was 2 for 2 from field, so 100% there. Only 2 buckets though. He had 2 free throws, made both of them. He had 0 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. He was a -2. And you could tell a little bit that maybe that knee was still kind of bothering him, because there was a little things where he just wasn't hustling as much as he normally does, though he was still affecting the defense there a lot. So Peyton Watson did not have a good offense game tonight, but he impacted more defensively. He had on 28 minutes, he made 9 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He was 4 for 11 from field, 1 for 4 from 3. 0 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. He was a -9. And then Nikola Jokic, our MV3, should be MV5, hopefully MV6. 35 minutes tonight, 40 points. So we got a 40 ball from Jokic after all of that. I think he only had like 7 points by the half. Like, it was crazy. And then he just went into overdrive mode in the second half. So he almost, I feel like if he wanted to, he could have had a 50 or 60 ball game, but he almost got a triple-double. Unfortunately, he didn't get a double-double at all. So 40 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 13 for 26 from field, 1 for 8 from 3, 13 for 15 from free throws. So doing a lot of grifting there. I will admit he's doing a lot of grifting there, but it gets us the win. It sucks. I don't like the grifting. I don't like the flopping, but that's kind of how the game is, and he's kind of adapting right now. So 2 turnovers, 1 personal foul with a -15. Jokic, 40 points, -15. I kind of feel it. Like, that's what I'm saying. The first lineup of that fourth quarter was on fire. That should have been the lineup that won this game, because I feel like it was the one that won this game. As much as I love Jokic, and you will not hear me not praise the man, even when he has a bad game, he still is phenomenal, but he was just not it tonight. Even with 40 points, he was not it. He had 1 steal, 1 block. Yeah, I get it. He was phenomenal. He wasn't it. That was actually Jamal, who we'll get to soon. Jamal was still great despite his stats. So I actually have a card for that. Cam Johnson, 34 minutes, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Man, Our starters were stealing and a blocking, man. That is phenomenal to see. Every starter tonight had at least one steal. And except for Spencer Jones, every starter had at least one block. So that's awesome. So Cam was 6 for 14 from field, 4 for 9 from 3, 0 for 1 from free throw, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, was a plus 15. So he had Jokic at a minus 15. Cam was a plus 15. And there were some bad turnovers. One of those turnovers from Cam, out of those 2 that he had, was pretty horrible. He was trying to save the ball, but then he lobbed it almost completely down the court out of bounds. I don't know who he was trying to get with that pass, but it was a pretty horrible turnover, I should say. So last but not least of the starters, Jamal Murray, Blue Arrow, 38 minutes tonight, the most amount of minutes of any Nugget, which is, you always see Jokic playing a lot of minutes. Everyone's talking about how many minutes he's playing. I think it's underrated how many minutes Jamal actually plays. He usually plays the most amount of minutes. He is our Iron Man of the team. He usually is playing almost damn near a full game of ball. And when he's not in, the defense does have a decline. It's all the little things that Jamal does, and especially in this season too. So 38 minutes, he had 23 points, which I know is not, phenomenal or anything, but still the impact that he had, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. So he actually got a double-double. Jamal did. He had two steals. So he had the most, Brucey B had the most steals tonight, but he had the second most steals. 1 block, the amazing block, a game-saving block, mind you. 8 for 16 from field, so also 50%. 4 for 6 from 3. 3 for 3 from free throws. So now we're back to not missing a free throw for Jamal, which I love. 4 turnovers, so the most amount of turnovers of any Nugget tonight, which isn't great. I get it. And then 1 personal foul was a plus 6. So he was Cam was the highest plus minus for the team. No, Valanciunas was plus 16. But still, he had a great night. Blue Arrow, had I say a great night because he flipped the switch. He was not doing well at all, and then all of a sudden he flipped it. Kind of like Yoke, but Yoke focused more on scoring, which is kind of what we needed. We needed buckets happening, but Jamal was trying for both, finding the open man and also making the bucket. So just the playmaking overall for Jamal was there, and I loved it. So that's why he gets the stat card tonight. Tim Hardaway Jr. From the bench also had a great night tonight. 27 minutes. He had 17 points off the bench, 6 rebounds. He was 5 for 11 from field, so not great percentage-wise. 4 for 8 from 3, so 50% there. And he had 3 for 5 from free throws. He actually missed free throws, which was not great either. He did have 1 turnover, but 0 personal fouls. Again, not being aggressive enough. Got to get more aggressive, so I will definitely tag that onto him as well. He was a -4. Brucey B had 13 points off the bench with 32 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 block. He was 4 for 4 from field, 2 for 2 from threes. So, man, Brucey B was on fire. Didn't miss a single shot tonight except for a free throw. He was 3 for 4 from free throws. So 2 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. He was a +1. And then I'll get to Valanciunas, who had played 12 minutes tonight, which as long as he's playing more than 10 minutes, I'm happy with that. 8 points off the bench, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 4 for 4 from field. And then he had 1 turnover, 1 personal foul, and again was a +16. Overall stats, we had 42 rebounds to their 45, so they even out-rebounded us, and that's mainly because we weren't boxing out in the offensive paint, and we were allowing them to get the defensive rebound there. And then 28 assists to their 35, so they were still assisting over more than us without Trae Young. If you remember, last season, Trae Young was the leading assist of the league. And now you don't even have him playing. He was out tonight, and they still outsisted us. That's crazy. Jalen Johnson had a monster triple-double. He was the only player tonight who actually scored a triple-double, had 21, 18, and 16. Like, there are good things for the Hawks there. Steals-wise, we had 9 steals to their 8, so we did outsteal them. And then 6 blocks to their 2, so we outblocked them. Even when they have Kristaps, we still outblocked them, which is awesome. Which I think Kristaps had 2 blocks, so he had their only 2. Their only 2 was from Kristaps. We shot 52% from field. They shot 51. We shot 43% from 3. They shot 43. So we tied there. 80% from free throws. They shot 93%. 12 turnovers to their 12. So same amount of turnovers. 15 personal fouls to their 25. So right there, not aggressive enough. That has got to change. The Nuggets have got to be more aggressive. Like, this is just overall, at home, on the road, it's got to stop. We've got to be more aggressive. We can't just be pussyfooting around on the court, hoping that by our scoring, we're going to win. They almost won. Had we not flipped the switch in the second half, they would have won. And when they almost damn near did still win in that final seconds of the game. So that's a big issue that I would like to see tightened up from the Nuggets overall, is getting more aggressive. So, and I think a little bit of it too is that and this is, a general league thing of why defense is just lacking overall, is that the guys or the players are afraid of getting hurt. You see some guys flopping, hitting on the floor and everything, and I think that that's where they're more getting hurt rather than actually being, aggressively defensive. And somehow they've got it into themselves or whatever that maybe they don't want to rack up too many fouls and foul out, and they also don't want to get hurt. But that's actually kind of having the reverse effect on them right now. So I want to see the Nuggets be more aggressive and attack more, because you will get rewarded, like I said before, being the more aggressive team there. So real quick around the association, because of this win tonight, we are still waiting on, actually, no, it's over with now. So let's see, final scores. We have Memphis beat the Clippers tonight, 107-98. The 76ers beat the Milwaukee Bucks, 116-101. And then this was one that I was waiting on. I was hoping that somehow the Suns would rally up a win as well, because that would have been good for us. But my light just went out. But the Phoenix Suns lost to the Houston Rockets 117-98. The Pacers got a bounce back win after we beat them against the Chicago Bulls, who beat us 120-105. So they blew them out. And then the Charlotte Hornets, who are our next opponent, beat the Toronto Raptors tonight 111-86. So they blew them out. The Charlotte Hornets are a different team this year, I think, and that's mainly because of Concanepal, to be honest. I think he's going to be the biggest issue for the Nuggets. And then the Knicks, my Knicks, Orange and Blue Skies, baby, they beat the Utah Jazz 146-112. Blowout win there for them. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers blew out the Spurs tonight, which was great, 130-117. And then Detroit beat the Blazers 122-116. Orlando beat Miami 106-105, so also a close game. And then the Celtics beat the Lakers 126-105. And it'll be the one time that I will be thankful for a Celtics win. Thank you, Celtics, for beating the Lakers. And now we are tied with the Lakers. The last game is still, it's at halftime right now because we have had so many early games tonight. But it is the OKC and Dallas, where OKC is blowing Dallas out, which we knew they would. Right now it's 63-48. Crazy. But with these wins and losses here, review of the Western Conference, obviously OKC is still the 1 seed, 21-1, which is ridiculous. And then the 2nd seed, because of all these wins and losses, is now owed to the Houston Rockets, who are sitting there with a 14-win, 5-loss. And they are now a half a game ahead of us, as we are also tied with the LA Lakers. They have the edge on us, which for some reason is why, because I guess they have a better home streak than we do. So I guess that's probably why. Otherwise I don't understand why. Oh no, it's the conference win. It's the conference win because we have one more loss in our conference than they do. So either way, we're tied at 16-6 with them. They're on the 3rd spot. We're on the 4th. So if we win the next game and they lose, we take over. And then the Spurs are now in the 5th seed spot, which is where we were, 15-7. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are sitting at the 6th seed, 14-8. The Suns are in the 7th seed, 13-9. And the Golden State Warriors are sitting in the 8th seed spot, 11-12. Which, man, I was really, really rooting for them to win that OKC game, and I'm still a little bit rooting for them. As far as the the Western Conference goes, I want to see the Warriors win. Obviously, not against us, but everyone else. Like I do want them to go out a little bit better than they are right now. The Grizzlies are at the 9th seed, 9-13, and the Portland Trailblazers are sitting at the 10th seed at 9-13 as well. So, that kind of bothers me with the Blazers. I don't know about y'all, but that kind of bothers me. The fact that the Blazers are sitting at the 10th seed and they beat us, that makes me so much more upset at that loss. Like, that should have not have happened. That, and then also the fact that the Kings beat us, and they're the 2nd worst team in the Western Conference right now. They're 5-17. We are one of the 5 wins that the Sacramento Kings have. The Dallas Mavericks beat us. They're under 10 as well. They have 8-15. We are one of the 8 wins that the Dallas Mavericks have right now. That is just frustrating. But we're going to ride the good positive waves of getting this win, right? Going to sweep those other stuff, flush those other ones. They don't even care. Like, we had those kind of embarrassing losses in the chip year. So we're going to bounce back from this, and we're still on a good road winning streak. We are a good road team. We are the best road team. That is our identity now. That's who we are just now. And we're a good road team. But I will also point out that if it looks like we play like the visiting team, it's because we kind of are. When you look at the schedule for the Nuggets, they are barely playing at home. And so when they come back to home, it's a lot more difficult for them to get acclimated because they're not at home so often. And when you look at the schedule also, I think it's like the last couple of games in this month bleeding into the next year, it's all on the road. There is 20 days where they are not at home, 7 games away from the Mile High. And then you come back to just a day and a half afterwards to have a home game. That is the roughest portion of this schedule. Like, guarantee you that home win, and that's actually like our we have like 2 home games or something like that this month. So we got to get a win. And the unfortunate thing is, I think our next home game is against the Rockets, who we beat at their home. So that is not going to be an easy win at all. And if we lose that game, then we'll be on a 5-game losing streak at home, which we have not been for a very long time. And then the next home game is again against the Rockets. So we play the Rockets, then we go on the road, and then we come back to the Mile High for another game against the Rockets. Luckily, the Rockets also leave and come back as well, but still, this schedule is just crazy right now. And it is unfortunate because Mile High is notorious for being the most difficult arena to play in for the NBA. And so it's kind of almost like, how do you even out the playing field? You don't have the home team playing there as much. And that's kind of what's happening right now. And so both teams are going into there exasperated and barely struggling to keep their energy going towards the fourth quarter. And it kind of comes down to who wants it more. So hopefully after January, it gets a little bit better and we play a little more games at home because we need to. I mean, 42 games at home, right? So the fact that we haven't played as many means that we have more home games at this end of the year, I would think. So hopefully that's when we start to really build up a home winning streak. So, but that's pretty much all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe, share it out to your friends and family, and if you feel generous enough to give me a donation, I'd really appreciate it. The link for the PayPal is in the description below, as well as on the profile page. I'd really appreciate it, as well as if you wanted to add a take or a comment to your donation, you could, and I'll read it out on the next episode. But I would really appreciate that if you could. Keep some lights on in here, obviously, lights dying. But you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about the Nuggets with good vibes. We'll catch you later.